It's like a dream of mine to completely blow out and like have to restructure my knee.
We've communicated and said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion.
Cindy! The TV's leaking!
McLovin?
Yeah. Today is Thomas Cup's birthday, and this is Project X. Yo.
All right, another week, another episode of Birdcore. Happy Monday, everybody. Good morning. I'm Sam Bird. As always, I'm joined by Jenny Kim. Jenny, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited for today's episode.
As am I. Just off the bat, I notice, looking back at our recordings from previous episodes, I'm always adjusting myself in my seat. So get ready for that today, because it's going to happen. I will be adjusting myself in the seat.
You'll be comfortable one day. You just gotta keep doing it.
Yeah, I just got to do my lower back exercises, and then I'll have all the comfort in the world. So we have a guest today, like always. She's an actress. You may know her as a young Allison Hargreeves from the Umbrella Academy. You may know her as Lauren P. from I Like Movies. Or you may know her as one of your classmates at TMU, where she is majoring in media production in her third year. We both got rejected for a script development and production program that takes place in LA this summer. Yes, we did. We're very grateful she's here with us today. Please welcome to the studio, Eden Cupid.
Hi.
Eden.
Gosh, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
we don't have any like sound effects, so we have to do the applause
It's okay.
ourselves.
I know. I thought this was gonna be like an iCarly thing. It's okay.
Oh, that'd be great,
It's
actually.
all right. I know. Next time they sell that at like Target.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Remember when they had the staples, like the "That Was Easy" button?
Guys, I've wanted absolutely every single one of those things my entire life. I was lucky enough to have like the you know that like Hannah Montana microphone?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
that girl.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you have the wig and everything too?
I did have a Hannah Montana wig. It's okay. I don't. To be fair, I was more of an Alex Russo girl.
Okay.
Never was able to grab onto the Alex Russo things. They didn't have like stuff for her like that. They had like the wand.
Yeah.
But that point
That's
I was
really
just
it,
like,
though.
Yeah, they didn't have things that were like Alex Russo, so I had to settle for Miley Cyrus. But like Love.
Yeah.
Hashtag love.
Yeah. What were things that were like Alex Russo though?
They had like Alex Russo was more of like a clothing line. Like, do you remember Justice? Do you know Justice brand? Where there was this, it was kind of like a children's place, but for like tweens.
Okay.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I love Justice.
Do you remember Justice? Yeah. So
I
they
live
would-
for that.
So they would have like a clothing line that was like Wizards of Waverly Place, Alex Russo themed, and I was like obviously too small for all of it. And then by the time that I was in it, I was out there in like Urban Outfitter things, so I missed it, but it's okay. 'Cause, again, still love for Selena Gomez. So
Yeah. I was a big Max Russo guy. I felt like he was always the underdog.
he though. I feel like he had his own niche.
Well,
Like niche, little. Honestly, Justin was the underdog. Everybody hated Justin. They set him up.
Really?
They set that man up.
yeah. Did you watch the finale where like
I did
what-
watch the finale.
Yeah, and Max won.
And Max did win. Well, and he got the sandwich shot because that's how it was supposed to play out. But do you remember, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the girl who played Harper and the dad, they have their own podcast now.
I saw something about
right?
that.
Yeah, it's kind of dope as hell, but
Yeah.
I know all of, like, the inside outs now about how, like, she was in demand, Miss Selena Gomez.
Oh, really? So you listened to the podcast?
I've listened to it. I listen to clips.
Okay.
I listen to clips of it, yeah.
Yeah, little like
Good.
TikToks or Instagram
Little
reels.
TikToks,
Yeah.
little Instagram reels, yeah.
And you have your own podcast, you were saying.
I do.
Yeah, do you want to talk a bit about that?
For sure. Okay, so it's called No Mindless Scrolling. It's basically a podcast dedicated to giving local Toronto artists a platform to just kind of advertise yourself. Give us a little insight as to what you do, how you entered your said path, your career, yeah, I feel like not enough people in Toronto get that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Come on in,
I
guys.
think you're right. Yeah. And when does that air? How often is that?
So it's every 2 weeks, I believe. Our schedules are pretty hectic, so
Yeah.
it shifts around. You probably have a much more organized schedule where we're like, oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that happens. But we try to do every 2 weeks.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of like our schedule here, like we have this room every Monday at 11. So it's kind of like we have to be here. If we want to do an episode, we have to be in the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of us, too. It's just that, if one of us is here, if none of us are here, it's a good day for whoever gets this room.
Yeah, fair. So last night, Jenny and I, we went to go see I Like Movies. Yeah, you were great in it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
How did you like the overall film? Was it funny? Do you know a guy like that? I know I do.
I'm like, if I really thought about it, I think I do. I don't think I can speak on who that person is because it hits a little bit close to home. Not literally like home, but I do know someone like that. Yeah, someone who Lawrence is the character. For those of you listening, Lawrence in the film I Like Movies, he's this teenager, kind of a narcissistic.
No, 100%.
Yeah, teenage. Yeah, who all he cared about was getting into NYU. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to spoil if you did or didn't. You have to watch the movie. And yeah, in terms of how I thought the movie went, I think Jenny and I had not necessarily contrasting views on it, but I know that for myself, I thought it started off, I was like, oh, this is a comedy. It started off, it was funny. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like these are great jokes. Like even some of the visuals in the background, like when Lawrence is in the staff room, on the whiteboard, it says, Shannon, don't flirt with the customers.
Yes.
And then Shannon goes, I'm a free sexual being. And like that, you got to pick up on it.
It's all of the little niche aspects of it that make it such a great film. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Miss Chandler Lavac is one of the greatest.
And that was her first film, right?
That was her first film.
The first one she wrote and directed.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that it's getting the much necessary attention that it's getting because she's a phenomenal scriptwriter and director. Very honored to have worked with her. And I can say only good things. Like, she can only make good things, so
yeah,
I'm excited for her path.
Yeah, well, that was definitely a good movie. And there was a point where I even found myself, like, my eyes were welling up a little bit at one point.
I know, right? With the whole, like, again, I won't spoil anything, but it gets into a lot of, deeper relationship stuff.
Yeah.
And oh, look, there's Zoe.
Who's that?
Zoe is one of my friends.
Oh, I know Zoe. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's a really great film that touches on some very deep stuff that I do recommend people go see.
Yeah. It was funny, and then it was sad, and then it was deep, and then it was
funny again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys shot that. That was a $350,000 budget. That is but it was like an indie film.
$350 or $250?
I was speaking with, I know a mutual friend of the producer, the guy who produced it.
Okay.
Is it Evan?
Evan Dubach. Yeah. Vincelli. Sorry.
So I know someone who knows Evan, and that producer was saying that I think it was $350. But I mean, you were in the movie, so you probably know better than I do.
Yeah. You know what? All of that stuff is very tight-lipped, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
I think not just like because of like people, but like producers, they never want to tell you how much it takes to make anything. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it was definitely on a budget, and they did absolutely amazing with what they had. Again, it was. I think the reason what got made was because Chandler kind of took this grant, like a Toronto TIFF grant that was supposed to give it to Toronto local directors and screenwriters, and so she made it off of that, and she did a phenomenal job.
Yeah. It was very Toronto as well, the movie.
It was, wasn't it?
It was shot in...
I know. The movie theater, the spaceship-themed one that's in the film, it got torn down. We were the last people to be able to ever see it, and I feel really special about that. But there were a lot of things that were so awesome about it because, well, as you know, it takes place in the early 2000s, so it's very, very 2000-themed. And anybody who's born in the early 2000s who have, like, a slight memory of what it was like... You'll get a good nostalgic feel to it.
Yeah, well, they even, having the video store is so nostalgic. And it was funny, one of the characters, I guess he was the head guy for the video store, he was saying, some of his lines were, you're entering an industry that's only expanding, and you could have a promising career at Sequel's video store for the next 30 to 40 years. The whole theater was laughing at that point.
Terrible foreshadowing, but what a great joke, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what was it like? I know, Jenny, I know this is your question, so I'm not going to steal it, and I'm going to let you ask it because I know you want to ask it about the big budget versus low budget.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you were in a big, high-budget film, and then with like a Netflix film.
We're just gonna fix the cameras real quick.
How like different of experience is it, like working on like a high-budget Netflix film and then working on like a smaller indie film?
Yeah. Well, I would honestly say it's quite a drastic difference. I think that with the whole like Netflix thing, of course it's very extravagant, it's very outlandish, the budget is a lot bigger, so you have a little bit more leeway to do things. And so I will say being on a bigger budget set can be a lot more isolating, I would say. Not to say that I wasn't being an Umbrella Academy and being on that set wasn't phenomenal, and it always is, but you definitely feel a lot more, I don't know, being on a smaller set, you just get a much more, like, family essence, a lot of that, we're all here to do something really amazing, and the relationships, the connections you make are a lot more inclusive and things like that. And I just think when you're on a big set, it's really easy not to remember anyone's name. And so anybody can kind of come in and walk out, and you would never know if they were a part of it or not.
Right.
You know, like being on a big set, you could really just walk on set and everyone would just assume you're supposed to be there.
That happened to me once.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like, so it's a lot more just that feeling of it's tight-knit, and it's really nice to just kind of make those more meaningful connections. Again, I'm very grateful for the connections I have on Umbrella Academy, though. It's really great.
Yeah, are you still close with
Yeah,
your
I
Umbrella
just saw
Academy
them,
people? Yeah?
actually. I just saw my castmates, and it's really exciting because a lot of them don't live here in the city. Like Cameron, who plays young Luther, he's in LA right now for school, so like seeing him is really nice. And TJ, who plays young Vanya, or Victor now, she lives in Hamilton, so being able to see them is really nice because everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of, you know, I think you got into acting at a young age, right?
I did.
So, like you said, your friend out in LA, still in school.
Mm-hmm.
Was it ever a possibility for you to not be in school and kind of pursue acting? Like, I know there are some actors who, for example, you know, Anne Hathaway, Jake Gyllenhaal, Emma Stone, those are actors who didn't end up completing school and just went full-fledged into acting. Was that ever a possibility for you?
Yeah, ever since I started university.
Really?
It's been a constant juggle between, I never wanted to drop it, but there were a lot of instances where it was like balancing the two, it's a lot. And it really makes you think, like, okay, what's the important thing here? I wanted to be an actor ever since I was like 4 years old, and I was very grateful to like experience it and kind of have a confirmation that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. But also, I've always been that kid who's had a certain, just I don't know, duty to fulfill school. My sister is a doctor, so you know,
Oh, wow.
I've never had that feeling of like competition, but like I've always wanted to just at least complete the things that I enroll in. And when I got to university, it was like a real hit to the gut, because it was like, oh my god, these two things are both full-time and they make no room for each other.
Yeah.
So it was always that battle between, do I take a year off? Oh, but I'm so close. Like, I'm in my third year. I've got 1 year left, and then it's really done. Like, I'm not going to grad school. But
Your sister had to go to grad school, though.
My
That's
sister had to go to
for
grad
quite a few years.
yeah. But it was, it's always that constant. Like, even now, I'm like, oh my god, am I going to be able to do it? But, you know, again, it's always just kind of that voice in my head that's like, if you just complete it, one, you will feel so accomplished, and you'll never have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
So just do it.
Yeah.
Make your thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
And I feel like there's a lot of kind of people who drop out of school almost are looked down upon.
Yeah, it's weird because you should never feel that way, ever. School is not going anywhere.
No.
And I say that to everybody, even people who are not in the entertainment industry. Whether you are in a more, you know, white collar, blue collar profession, like, school is not going anywhere. You have your entire life to go back to it. You have your entire life to get out of it. So I'm always an advocate for follow the one thing that makes you get up in the morning and not hate yourself for your life. Do that.
Very good advice. Definitely helps.
So, yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And, you know, if you weren't pursuing acting, like you said, you knew at the age of 4, you were like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And if you weren't to be an actress, I should say. I know we had this conversation. What do you think you would be doing?
Ooh, so it's funny because prior to, you know, enrolling into media production here at TMU, I really had a big interest in psychology. I thought that would actually, it would really balance my acting career because, you know, I would get a chance to really deep dive into the brain and characters and, you know, how personalities are created and things like that. So I thought it was a really good corresponder to what I wanted to pursue. And then I didn't end up going to that because my mother said, "Don't be ridiculous. You don't like that." And I was like, "You're right. You're very right, Simone."
Shout out Simone.
Shout out Simone. And so there was a moment in there too where I really liked criminology. I'm a big like crime thriller girl, and so I was always really interested in like figuring out murder mysteries. And so I don't know, I feel like if I were to not be in acting, it would definitely be now. It would still be in the industry. You know, I have a lot of passion for cinematography. I really want to get into that, directing and screenwriting. But if it wasn't in the entertainment industry, I'd probably go like psychology or something.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned that. I studied psychology at McGill University before transferring here. Yeah, I hated it though. I was like, I'm from Montreal. In Montreal, after high school, we have to do this pre-university schooling called CEGEP.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes when I tell people I go to CEGEP, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
And I got like a few concussions playing football at CEGEP, and I was like, I want to know how my brain works. So I was like, well, I guess it's psychology then. Mm-hmm. But deep down, I always knew where
your heart lies.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in here, I think.
It's all about not waking up and lying to yourself.
Yeah.
It took a long time for me to figure that out.
That's good, and it's good. It's good that your parents told you like, no, you know what you like. You know what I mean?
And that was, honestly, I have to give a lot of credit to my mother and my father for, kind of just allowing me to creatively explore myself. I went to an art high school, and I came across a lot of kids whose parents looked at their art as more of a hobby.
Okay.
And that was really discouraging. I felt really bad for those kids because when we eventually graduated, it was, you know, them telling me they were going to go into more white-collar professions and just kind of seeing how much they were really resenting that. And I always kind of just sat in that gratitude of, like, my parents never once made me feel like what I wanted to pursue was not an option or not tangible. And I have to really just hold on to that because there are a lot of kids who don't get to pursue their dreams and their goals, and that's really unfortunate.
And then they wake up and they hate
what they do in themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
We're just gonna move your mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Cool.
Amazing.
All right.
Okay. A little technical glitch there. So big into thrillers, you said, eh? Mm-hmm. So what kind of thrillers do you like to watch? Like, are thrillers your favorite movie genre to watch?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I just finished. What's the last thriller I watched? I kind of tend to rewatch my favorite thrillers, like Seven. That one's a really
okay.
I love that one. Oh, I just I'm about to rewatch 2023. Is it the one with Jim Carrey where he keeps seeing the number? Is it 22?
Oh.
Or something like that?
I don't know, Jenny. What look that?
Yeah. It's some number, but it's one of my favorite movies. It scared the heck out of me growing up because I was just like, how? But yeah, and then I'm really into crime, like YouTube. Like Bailey Sarian is this girl who does her makeup, but then also talks about murder mysteries that have never been solved. And I'm just like, yeah, this is my crap.
That's a very niche.
It's a very niche thing, but like also she has millions of subscribers, so I'm just like, this girl knows her bag.
Yeah,
Good for her.
she knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing. So yeah. Oh, and I also just watched this documentary on Netflix about a male nurse who went around basically killing his patients who were on palliative care.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he went around just making the decision that they need to die now, and it was like said at the end of the documentary they weren't really sure how many people he actually killed, but it was in the 400 range.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Some people just...
Yeah, it was insane just to kind of like take in how these people are in your healthcare system and these people are meant to take care of you and kind of watch after you when they're murdering your loved ones.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
Would you ever want to act in a thriller?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Are you kidding me? So basically it's really funny because my dream role is actually The Black Swan. And if you guys have seen that,
Oh,
with Natalie
okay.
Portman, that is my dream role. I don't do ballet at all, but I would spend the next 8 years of my life learning it just for that role. But yeah, that's a thriller. That's a thriller, psychological thriller film, and I want to deep dive into the brain so bad because I feel like that is where real stories are. You know?
Yeah.
I just really kind of thrive for those films that like put the mental state at the forefront because there's a lot of Hollywood that's just sugar-coated. You know, like I love a good action film. I love Avengers. I love the whole superhero thing. But, you know, after a while, it's just kind of like, give me something to think about. So.
Yeah. I've recently you know, I have to admit I'm guilty of just being up until a few months ago just a comedy movie kind of guy.
I understand that.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with a good comedy. Have you ever there's a really great comedy that I was just watching.
Who's in
Of course
it?
I'm not going to remember the name. It's with do you know the guy from he plays Mitch in New Girl?
Oh,
Do you know New Girl?
I know New Girl. I don't know the
all
cast.
of the cast members. It's with him. He's so funny though, and it's a really great comedy. But yeah, I just finished watching that, and then I gotta be honest with you, I'm on a terrible reality show run right now. Do you guys watch Love Is Blind?
I watched the first season of Love Is Blind. I watched
so good.
I watched the first season of Love Is Blind, and then who was it? Amber and Bennett.
Yes.
I like followed I looked through their Instagram like months after. I was like, oh, they're still together. Okay.
No, guys, Lauren and
Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Are they still going?
Yeah.
Really?
I loved it,
Oh
you
my
guys.
God.
I'm on season 3. I was kind of late to it. I didn't watch the first season.
Yeah.
My sister and my mom did. But then I came in on season like 2 and 3, and it's too good, guys.
Really?
Love is not blind. Let me say that.
No, it ain't.
It's not
No.
blind.
I watched, well, during COVID, that's when all that stuff blew up.
Yeah.
That's when they had The Circle, they had Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that one.
I don't love that one, especially.
Terrible to watch.
I like The Circle, though.
Okay, what's that one about?
The Circle is where they're kind of in their own, like, room, and they interact with each other through... like a
group chats
like a
and-
group chat, yeah.
Online.
And there's a picture. Everybody has their profile. It's essentially like Instagram, and some people can be catfishes, some people aren't catfishes, and then you
Oh.
vote off people. It's really good,
Wow.
and it doesn't have to
Okay.
do with like. There's no like sex, or it's all about just who's the hottest, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a lot more conversational in The Circle, I find.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conversational for a reality TV show that's only about looks.
You got me there. Yeah. Too Hot
No,
to
it's
Handle,
good.
though. I remember watching that. I
That
watched.
was terrible.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
It goes to show how reality TV is really all about the editing and the music.
It's the music and the edit. I mean, first of all, without the dramatics of the soundtrack, reality TV is nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And I also love the way that they make their, like, songs very, how do you say it's, like, like, really legit. Like, you know? Like, it's just, like, they're singing about exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, you guys are good at this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it works because it gets people.
Do you follow Bowmanizer on
No.
TikTok? Do you know who I'm talking about? Bowman. He's from Toronto. Oh, you would. I feel like you would recognize him if I showed you.
Does he have a mullet?
No, he doesn't have a mullet.
No.
No, he's a tall guy. He's tall, light skinned with a mustache, and he makes these reality sketches on TikTok, and they're just the most dramatic and unnecessary.
Dreads? Does he have dreadlocks?
No, he doesn't have dreads.
Okay.
I'm,
Think of a different guy.
Jenny, are you pulling up a picture?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that-
I do know this guy. He does all like the Kim Kardashian.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that guy's really good.
He's really good. He's a grad of
my
media production.
God.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
With all that to say, he does his own music. Like you could, he'll do his reality stuff, and then it'll be a track of him singing like oh, like just.
She's walking out the door.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
He's great. These TikTokers are getting like really good.
Yeah.
I wish I was better at TikTok. I think I'm just more of like an entertainment consumer rather than like somebody who outputs it. And so I never really got on the wave of being a TikTok creator. I'm not a content creator.
Right.
That's something I can't get into, probably because I just don't want to be on my social media like that. I just want to be the person that like shows you like, hey, I went here 3 months ago. Look.
Yeah.
And then leave.
Yeah. Well, you got all those story highlights.
Yeah, you can look through them. You know what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and then I kind of just go back into my little corner.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I like the aspect of I guess content creation. You said I don't like calling myself a content creator.
Yeah, the influencer has a certain certain ring to it that I don't like. I love to influencers because I follow a lot of them. You know, I'm a really, I love my influencer girlies, but I feel like more so it's just exhausting.
It is.
It is. Having to and I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a really hard job. And then other people are like, it's really not that hard. But I do actually understand just having to get up and immediately put your life on the internet.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, a lot of them, I think, do their own editing. They do their own, marketing or whatever it might be. And that's a lot of time that they are spending on one.
Especially if you really care to edit your stuff. I know this girl, I went to high school with her. She is now like a content creator. And she's like really good. She puts like mad effort into her posts. And like they work for her because she's like at an influencer event like every day.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, good for her.
Influencer events I find those funny. I see stories of those and I'm like,
those can't be that fun.
Yeah, and realistically they're posting stories, but they're good at posting stories that look good.
Exactly.
So I'm like, is this really fun?
That's what I wonder, because I'm like, there's no way that all of those people who are all trying to like gain the same objective are all excited to be there in that room. I feel like it's just one giant competition.
Yeah.
And I would hate to do that, because if you're at like an influencer event for Nike, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Get some sneakers, talk a little bit, but everybody's too busy like trying to one up.
Yeah.
This is just off of my own observations. Please, somebody tell me if that's false.
I think that might be fact, unfortunately. Like at these influencer events, they're, posting their story, then are they all on their phones afterwards? Because that's where their world is. I'm speaking, I don't know this for a fact, but
they're there for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting invited there to post about the event and advertise it. So how much of the time are you there? I also hate networking, which is terrible because I'm in an industry in which I depend on it. But I hate networking. But I feel like influencing is one career path where you never make any real connection. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's hard to make a friend out there.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about influencing or networking. Mm-hmm. I just want to make friends, and I feel like everyone has a motive in every relationship that they have.
Exactly. Have you guys felt that? Just kind of putting your foot in the production industry, just kind of
sure.
Feeling like every person who's also in the industry, you feel this really overwhelming need to connect with them and keep them on your radar, just in case of a potential job opportunity in the future. And it's oh man, I just kind of wanted to chat.
Yeah. And I've had those interactions, and I've also had interactions where there's this guy that I met up with, would have been last week. I think he's listening. Corey, shout out Corey. And he told me that night he was going to watch I Like Movies.
Oh,
and then I was like, I'm interviewing next week. And he's the kind of guy, he reached out to me, he wants to grab a coffee. And I didn't know if it was he has an opportunity for me, or if it's this guy wants to be my friend. Yeah. And I got there and it was this guy wants to be my friend. That's dope. Yeah. This isn't someone who's just you're good at this. I need you to do that stuff. Yeah. He was genuinely, he wanted to know what kind of person I am. He's very real. He's authentic like that.
I love that.
And I feel like there's a limit on people out there that are like that, especially in this day and age in the entertainment industry. Everybody might kind of be thinking, okay, well, is this person going to benefit me? Or how can I leverage my work by getting this person help?
100%. I think especially for our age, it's very much people just feel like the entertainment industry is the quickest way to kind of elevate themselves, get their bag, make sure that they have some form of success.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I feel like a lot of people have a false perception of the industry, because there is nothing easy about it, especially getting into it. So when you meet those people who are just starting off, and it's really easy to tell when somebody is just speaking to you for some form of benefit. It's a bit disheartening, because it's I feel like me being in the film industry, everybody kind of looks at one another like a ladder.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
You know? And I'm all for, elevating people, giving them that kind of like recognition, especially if they're very talented. But to surround yourself with a bunch of people who are also here for one thing and one thing only, and that's like either to be the best or to be on top or to be number one, then it's like it just gave me personally the most anxiety ever. This industry has given me anxiety out the yin-yang. And so that I feel like from going from a very extroverted child, I became very introverted.
Really?
Yeah, extremely. You never know. I really appreciate the people, like, for me, and it sounds really bad, but like for me, I'm like, chill. I've only known you for 2 years. Like, I don't even know you. And like the people that I have in my life have been people I've known since I was like 12. And so those are the people that I know before anything happened to me in the industry. Those are the people that liked me. They wanted me around. They wanted to be my friend just because I was somebody that they enjoyed hanging out with. Yeah. Whereas now, I don't know. Like, a lot of people don't, or kind of say that I don't really bring up my career.
I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it is. I like to think so. But also I've gotten a lot of people who are like, why don't you talk about it? You should be really proud. And it's not that I'm not proud, but I also feel like when I tell people what I do for a living, it just kind of puts this very, it puts like this filter over me that's kind of hard to break, because as soon as I tell people, oh, like I'm a professional actor, they see me in a different light, that it's really hard to kind of have a one-on-one conversation. And I don't like to assume people are only ever like talking to me because they want me to like post them on my story, or they're kind of want people to know that I associate with them or they associate with me or things like that. But it's also just kind of like being the same age and talking to somebody who is not in the industry, they look at me in an aspect where it's like, oh, wow, you're really successful and you're doing stuff with yourself. You're a lot better. And I'm just like, girl, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, I'm like at the exact same level as you. Please don't think that.
I just want to know what the homework is.
Yeah. The homework, I feel so bad when I DM people and I'm just like, hey, oh my God. And they're just like, oh my God, I didn't know you knew who I was. And I'm just like, oh my God. Do you have like the notes? Yeah. I wasn't there in class.
Did you mean to send this to me, or was it for somebody else? I'll send it to somebody. Do you want to? I'll send it to somebody else.
Do you want to sit together in class? Girl, yeah. You sit together. Don't worry. So yeah.
I'll bring you lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, it's very much that. So that's why I've always refrained from telling people what I do, so that I can make more meaningful connections.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to see that. And I like the fact that you say that your closest, or, well, I don't know if necessarily your closest, but the people that you've known since you were 12, you still have them around. Because I feel like, and then, again, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like when I look at the industry, I think, well, actors who are so famous and who have maybe almost a sense of entitlement, I'm like, do they still have their friends from childhood, or are they I guess it depends on the person, right?
It does depend on the person, but I've gotten the chance to meet people who, are a lot bigger in the industry than me, but they're the same age, and you just kind of get that perspective where it's almost kind of a little bit, again, disheartening, because being famous from a really young age, you see how that has mentally affected a lot of kids, a lot of people my age. They have been surrounded with glitz and glam for a very long time, and some of them love it. They don't want to know anything different, and a lot of them like yearn for that just regular friendship. Those people that you like there are a lot of kids in the industry who don't have that like high school experience. Yeah. So every other kid that they've gotten to work with in the industry who are like on their level, those are their friends, but they only know them in that aspect of being famous as well. So it's really difficult and really a little bit unfortunate when I meet them and I'm just like, oh my God, there are so many things you never got to do. And you see it too, like you see the difference in communication. Yeah. They don't really know how to communicate with just regular people. Yeah. Because for the most part, whenever they meet people, they're either talking about themselves or they have to put on a front because you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what that person's going to say about you after the interaction. You don't know how people are going to perceive you. So they're always kind of like this, I like to call it the mannequin effect. They're just like a mannequin where they're really, pristine. They're always watching what they're doing. And yeah, they're just very professional. They never turn it off. And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Do you find yourself, like, when you go for, for example, for a premiere for one of your movies, how are you behaving? Is there ever, like, you're like, oh, they're here for my movie? Do you ever are you like, oh, do you kind of put on a bit of a front? Or?
Oh, for sure. Well, it's really different when you're, like, this big in the industry, because of course you want to make the good impression. You don't really want to start off on a bad foot with anybody. It's all about making that, remembering that these people are looking for a certain type of personality and attitude. They want easy people to work with. The film industry love easy people to work with. So obviously you never want to be difficult or somebody who is disengaged or just not very, friendly. So I always find yes, I am overly friendly when I am in those moments, but not because behind the scenes I'm, terrible, but because, it's just you everything in this stage is going to help you. When you're like Meryl Streep, obviously you don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Every interview is just like another 5 minutes of your life you're never gonna get back.
Yeah.
But I do, like, my dream is to finally, like, get on a show that's, like, so provocative and for not child audiences at all. That way I don't have to monitor myself so much.
Right.
Like, I was never the kid who dreamed to be on Disney. I didn't. Because I knew exactly what those kids went through. I've done much research about the things that Disney children had to go through, Nickelodeon kids, just that, like, constant filter, that pristine image they have to keep up 24/7 because your audience is 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
And the minute that you decide to act your own age, you're gone.
Yeah.
Disney does not play around with that.
No.
So I was always that kid that was like to my agent, hey, don't submit me for that. I don't want to do that. So I was really grateful when I got Umbrella Academy because there's all sorts of, like, profanity and narcotics on that show. So it was just a really great way for me, especially at that age, to be like, oh, I could swear if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I choose not to, though, just because, like, again, I'm also somebody who's really scared to show her real self. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to save that for different.
One day down the line.
One day down the line when I don't have to care so much.
Okay. Well, and I like movies. There was a bit more. That was kind of.
Yeah.
That was a bit more of a. I mean, you played a very sweet character, though. So your character wasn't going to be the kind of character that gets up and swears and.
But it always helps to be a part of that movie because all of those, like, genres really help build who your character, like, not your character, but, like, your career and what people see you fit for, the roles that they see you in. It's really hard when you're a Disney character and breaking out of that. And I think that that's why so many people were like, when Miley Cyrus was finally breaking her Hannah Montana image and everybody was like, whoa, that's, like, so insane and crazy. Why would she do that? But, like, it almost takes that level of, like, craziness to finally let go of it. And people still now will never not see her as Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
As anything other than Hannah Montana. So it's like, I'm really thankful that I never had to go through that. And so now if I was a part of a Disney thing, I still have Umbrella Academy under me.
Yeah.
So, like, I've been a part of all sorts of things, which is nice.
How old were you when you got Umbrella Academy?
I was 14.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in 9th grade going into 10th. And I failed math because of it.
Hey, we've all failed math. We've all failed math.
Oh, yeah. So that was another confirmation that I would never go into a white-collar profession. So, yeah. And it was crazy. It was almost kind of like, it was nice. It was really cool having that happen to me so young. But I do almost wish it didn't happen that young. Just because, again, the whole, like, attention. I still don't know how to deal with it. I'm never on my main account. I don't know how to interact with that many people. I don't know why that many people want to see my life.
And you have like 30 to 40 fan accounts for you too. I was doing my research yesterday. There's over 10,000 posts with the hashtag Eating Cupid.
Yeah, and it's a little bit it's, I don't want to say frightening because I don't want to make my followers feel like I don't appreciate them.
Yeah.
I'm always so grateful that so many people want to see what I do and they like what I do. But I do want to just say that, like, even when I'm not really interacting with them as much, it's not because I don't appreciate it or I don't love them, but it is just a sense of anxiety. Once you allow those people in, you'll never get them out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really important for me to maintain that privacy now and just really make sure people know that there is a level of access they will never have to me. And just kind of, saying that with the same level of gratitude that I have with the things that I do share of my life.
Right.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
I noticed one thing that you do share with, well, not with me in particular, but with a lot of people is a love for anime. Is that are you still a big anime fan?
I'm a huge anime fan. I just finished Tokyo Revengers.
Okay.
Such a good one. Unfortunately, it got canceled. I think season 2 they dropped off on the animation. Like, it was really bad. The animation was crappy.
I feel like that's what makes anime, though. It's got to be well animated.
That's what it is.
It's
that,
literally
like,
in the
if
name.
you don't have an anime studio that's doing your stuff justice, then you're toast, you know?
Yeah.
And so Tokyo Revengers did kind of suffer from a poor animation studio. They did not animate it well, but the story is so good, which makes it really heartbreaking that it's not going to carry on. But yeah, I mean, obviously super excited for, I don't know, is Jujutsu Kaisen coming back? I heard nothing about it.
I have to be honest with you. I don't know much about anime.
Okay.
I know one guy. My buddy Beck.
Yes.
My friend Beck.
Yes.
Shout out to Beck. He knows everything about anime.
Okay.
I tried anime when I was younger. I watched Naruto.
Okay.
How's it pronounced? Naruto?
The Naruto like fan base is so particular with that. I just don't say it. I don't say it.
Well,
when people are like, "Oh, I watch Naruto," I'm like, "Oh, cool, yeah, you watch Naruto, good."
Yeah, I love Naruto.
Yeah. I love that. It's a good show.
I watched it. It was like late at night, and I was like 8 years old. And
on YTV.
It might have been on YTV.
Yeah, because I used to watch it just for Inuyasha to come on after. That's what I was watching.
Okay, so it probably was YTV then. And there was a scene. I didn't realize anime was violent. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's an animated kids show. And then they were like killing and blood. I was like, no thanks. It's not for me. So, no, I never really got into it though.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I love about anime is that it's like literally the only thing that carries a genuine story now. I can't get down with many American TV shows because I just don't find that there's much like depth in them, you know? And I of course I love, you know, the classics. I love The Office. And I love all of those things. Right. But like, I don't know. I like Grey's Anatomy. I watched it after like, I was a big Grey's Anatomy fan until like season 10 and I was like, this is still on.
Oh my God.
How many lives can they save?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we will go through the apocalypse, and Grey's Anatomy will release it season 30.
Yeah. I've been in the same boat. I don't know how many you watched. I watched like 16 seasons. Like, how? I don't know how I did it.
Still doing this. So, like, yeah, I can't get down with it anymore. So, anime is the only thing that provides me a story that I can keep engaged in.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why.
Have you been to like anime conventions?
No, but I really want to go. And you know what? I feel like I am somebody who will never be embarrassed about it. Like, I don't care.
Well, it's good though.
Yeah, if people are just like, oh, you watch anime? I'm just like, yeah, I have posters on my wall and books. Like, I don't care. But I do really want to go. I don't know if I would cosplay. I feel like that should really be limited to people of the culture. I feel like that's something people who are not Japanese or just Asian should do. Yeah, don't do that.
Fair. Well, if you ever want to elevate your TikTok game, that is a way to elevate it. Do some cosplay.
It is. Like, it doesn't matter. Cosplay will always get views. So dang.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. It is impressive. And I respect the determination to keep on doing it. But I think I would really enjoy a good like Comic-Con, like a good anime Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think there was Comic-Con a few weeks ago here.
I've never even been to a Comic-Con either.
Me neither.
And like, I don't know, I feel bad because I don't want to be in that like space and like love superheroes, but also be like, well, this is cringe as hell. You guys are grown.
Yeah. It's like, do you have to pick your kids up after this?
Yeah, like, are you guys on your lunch break? I mean, like, but I also, again, I respect the love.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to them.
Absolutely.
That's a hobby. And and
Yeah.
people deserve that. People should have those.
Yeah. Hey, to each their own also, right? Like,
Again, yeah.
everybody got their hobbies.
Who am I to judge?
Absolutely.
So.
Look, we got about 5 minutes left here. Time really flew by.
It did.
It goes very, very fast. One thing that I wanted to ask, it's not related to your career. It's not related to the industry. Nothing at all.
Cool.
You got laser eye surgery.
I did.
Yeah.
Guys, if I would ever recommend anything, it's that. The best money. I'm not even going to like hide or cap. It's $5,000. Best $5,000 I have ever spent in my life.
Okay.
And it's like seeing in 12K.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have like superpowers now?
Dude, I was never the person who was able to. Okay, COVID really did a number on my eyes. I was really bad. I was like reaching 12 hours on my phone. But it did a really, really bad job to my eyes. And so I was just like, if I'm ever going to want to see perfectly again, I don't want to wear glasses. I also lost them. I can't do contacts. I'm not touching my eyes like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to buy it. And I did it. And I looked outside my window and I was like, I see. That's a Buick. I can see that. And your license plate number.
We have a dog?
Yeah. Literally, I was just like, oh my God, I've never seen my mother's face like that before. So I was like, wow. You see every line on everyone's face.
Really? Wow. Well, you're talking to the right guy because
do it.
Yeah.
And hey, I also had, again, I'm not gonna lie, I did a little like brand deal with LASIK.
Okay.
So you guys can now until I think it's July 11th, 2024. You guys can get $300 off your LASIK.
Really?
My code LMD Eden.
Well, let's write that down, Jenny, please. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, you guys can write that down. It's also on my Instagram page. If you want to go check that out, you can get that.
My eyes aren't like that bad, but I mean they might be. Like I was telling Jenny yesterday, I ran out of contacts. I guess 3 days ago.
It's not good.
It's not good. And I've been wearing my glasses, and I'm convinced that my contacts and my glasses are different prescriptions.
You don't even get me started on that. I was wearing my mother's glasses.
Oh my God.
I went there. Can I just be honest? There's nothing more embarrassing than like an eye exam. The level of like shame you feel. They're not purposely shaming you, but they're just like, are these your prescription? And you just kind of sit there and you're like, no. And then they look at you and they're just like, why would you do that? And you're like, I don't need to explain myself to you. Circumstances are circumstances.
Yeah, I answered your question.
I answered your question. Are you going to fix my eye or not?
Yeah.
And so, they actually did tell me when I was at my eye examination, they're just like, your eyes are still changing. And I'm like, ooh, what does that mean? And they're like, they might change even after the surgery. And I'm like, what does that mean? So they're like, you might have to come for a correction in like the next 20 years. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's no big deal.
Fine, whatever. But yeah, that's like the exact eye examination for the LASIK. I won't lie, you're either eligible or you're not. They're going to tell you.
Based on your prescription?
Yeah, based on your prescription. They're just like, yo, your eyes are like way too gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you
really?
can't do this. Yeah. I knew a girl who, she constantly slept with her contacts in and it scratched her lens, the top of her lens, and she went in to get LASIK, and they were like, yo, your eyes are too...
No way.
They're shredded.
No.
Why would she sleep with her contacts in?
I don't know. You know what? As a 20-year-old, things happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Studying, it just happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, her eyes are too shredded. And
Oh my God.
That's gotta be heartbreaking.
So are my dad's. I texted him yesterday. I was like, how far are you from being like blind? He's like, not very far.
It's almost there.
Yeah. He's like -9.5 in one eye.
Wow.
Yeah. I like.
Oh my God.
He's like, if he were to ever drop his glasses, he'd be like the meme of like Velma from Scooby Doo. He would have no idea where they are.
You go home to him today and you're just like, Dad, what do I look like?
Who are you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were the plumber. But damn.
Yeah. God bless him.
God bless him.
All right, Eden. Well, that's all the time we have today.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Do you have class today? Like,
I do.
yeah, you do, but you're not going.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what
not
that
gonna
sounds
go.
like.
Hey, go to your classes, but not after you hand in all of your assignments. Then go enjoy your life.
Oh yeah, no point in going.
Go enjoy your life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. I'm Sam
Thanks,
Bird
guys.
here at Bird Core. Jenny, thank you for doing your Jenny things.
Well, lots of giggles today.
Yeah,
It was a good
giggly
episode.
day. All right, we'll catch you next week on Monday at 11:10 on spiritlive.ca, and this will be on Spotify later this week. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.
It's like a dream of mine to completely blow out and like have to restructure my knee.
We've communicated and said, you know what? Lion tastes good. Let's go get some more lion.
Cindy? The TV's leaking.
McLovin?
Yeah. Today is Thomas Cup's birthday, and this is Project X. Yo.